Imagine packing your entire life into a suitcase and saying goodbye to everything and everyone you've ever known, including your family. You courageously embark on your journey to a foreign country, not sure what awaits you on the other side. Upon arrival, you are immediately confronted with numerous and unimaginable challenges, and now you are contemplating whether to stay back and fight or return home and watch your dreams die. Hi, my name is Dixon, and this is the Japa story of many African migrants like me who relocated abroad to seek better opportunities. And in this video, I will share with you a heartbreaking decision to leave my home country, Nigeria, the challenges I faced, the lessons I learned, and the successes that made it worthwhile. I grew up in Ekpoma, a town in Edo State, Nigeria, which is renowned for its vibrant student community and bustling commercial activities, primarily due to the presence of Ali University, which is located there. But beneath these great attributes was a harsh reality. Violence was around every corner. Cultism was the order of the day. There were no job opportunities, and crime, specifically internet fraud, was widespread. After my studies, I had two options: to stay back in Nigeria and build a business, or pursue further studies in Poland. I chose to travel, not because the Nigerian economy was rapidly deteriorating at the time, but for two main reasons. Firstly, I had lived all my life in Edo and really wanted to see the world. Secondly, my nature as an albino does not really suit the Nigerian weather, which is too hot and hazardous for my skin, if you know what I mean. As you can see, my decision was influenced by a mix of adventure and survival, but this might not be the case for you. And regardless of your reason, one thing is sure: relocating abroad requires a huge sacrifice, especially for the average person. Before traveling, I faced numerous challenges. I'm talking about the bureaucratic visa process, which involved completing endless forms, the strain of securing documentation, and the lengthy wait for many months, along with the associated financial implications. Emotionally, it was also tricky. It was hard to say goodbye to my family, not knowing if I would ever see them again, and hoping that by the time I returned or came visiting, everyone would still be alive. When I finally arrived in Poland and thought that all of my days of suffering were over, I was hit with initial survival hurdles and systemic roadblocks. This was my first time living outside of Nigeria, where everything was familiar. But little did I know that the storm, the real storm, just begun. My first challenge was finding a place to live. Luckily for me, settling upon arrival was not difficult because I already had a friend living in Poland at the time. But this is not the case for many who are often stranded with no decent place to lay their heads for the first few nights. For me, the real challenge was renting an apartment because most landlords were unfriendly towards foreigners. And when I finally found an apartment that I liked, convincing the landlord to rent to me as a student was difficult. It took more effort to guarantee consistent and timely payments before he finally agreed. Hostels are usually cheaper and easier for students, but I was not cut out for the troubles and living conditions there. Culture shock was another challenge. I am talking about the differences in values, beliefs, behaviors, food, and the general Polish environment. For example, the lack of smiling at strangers. Poles generally do not smile at people they do not know in public places, such as streets and even within the same estate. Soon I realized that this is not an indicator of bad mood, but a cultural difference, because here, smiling is reserved for close friends and known acquaintances. Initially, I was optimistic and excited. In fact, I overlooked many things. But soon, frustration and stress kicked in because of loneliness and homesickness. Language barrier was and still remains a significant challenge to date. Although I now speak very little Polish, I still struggle to express myself clearly and understand everything others are saying. For example, communicating in places such as government offices can be extremely difficult because officials often and prefer to communicate in the local language even though they may know English. I have also missed out on numerous opportunities due to my limited understanding and speaking skills in Polish. My mistake was not taking Polish seriously from the beginning, so do not behave like me. If you plan on relocating to a country with a different language, start to learn that language before leaving your home country. The good thing is that there are numerous opportunities on the internet to help you get started learning that language. You can also use apps like Duolingo or Rosetta Stone to start learning on your own. I also find YouTube videos that are designed specifically towards beginners in that language to be very helpful. So check out some YouTube videos and you will find something that suits your needs. Essentials are usually more expensive in developed countries compared to those in developing countries. I am talking about things like rent, water, food, energy, and healthcare services. In fact, if you do not have a stable source of income, sorry for you because you are on your own and nobody really gives a damn. Before I started earning money here, I remember transferring money from back home in Nigeria. This was extremely painful and difficult because at the time, there were too many restrictions on transferring money from Nigeria to other countries due to Nigeria's limited foreign exchange reserves. This meant one thing: relying on third-party exchanges outside of the traditional financial system, which was very expensive. Another thing I had to adjust to was the local currency, I mean the Polish zloty. I remember how horrible I felt after converting my expenses in Polish zlotys into Nigerian naira and seeing how things were expensive here compared to back home. In fact, my finances dwindled quickly. My plan did not align with the new economic reality, and there was absolutely no way I could have completed my studies without a source of income. Which brings me to the next challenge: establishing a career. Honestly, it wasn't easy managing my studies, finding a job, learning new skills, and balancing side hustles to make ends meet. As a matter of fact, it is impossible to describe a typical day of that time of my life. There were too many elements on my calendar and things to be done. So imagine being in this situation and constantly conducting self-assessments to identify passions and interests, researching potential career paths, networking to connect with professionals and mentors, actively applying for jobs, preparing for interviews, gaining experience through personal projects, among others. Time was not on my side, and juggling these activities meant many sleepless nights. Navigating the Polish labor market was another hurdle, especially for a beginner like me who lacked local experience. After graduating, I continued to struggle to establish a career and find a job. And despite holding 2 master's degrees and possessing valuable skills, I only managed to secure a customer care representative position, which barely covered my monthly expenses. Luckily for me, I had web development gigs on the side that covered the deficits. All of these challenges I have mentioned may not apply to you depending on various factors such as your financial status, your experiences, country, language, basis of travel, and type of visa or residency. However, one serious challenge which I think is overlooked by many people like me who come from third world countries, as they like to call it, and relocating on the basis of temporary residency is maintaining legal status in the host country. For this, there is no shortcut because you must do the hard work. You must ensure proper documentation, pay close attention to detail, and be patient. Sometimes money is required simply because you need an immigration lawyer to make things easier for you. Due to the difficulty involved, many people resort to staying illegal abroad, which to me is like living in hell. In my opinion, the hiding, the difficulty in accessing healthcare services or financial services, and the constant fear of living this way are not just worth it. There are several ways to maintain legal status, such as through education, employment, and even marriage. But this is a topic for another day. I decided to mention this challenge because it can be emotionally exhausting due to the evolving immigration regulations and border controls across various countries. Don't worry, in future videos I will share more insights on this topic. But for now, if you plan to relocate abroad and stay there for an extended period of time, ensure you consider visa renewal applications in your plans and prioritize finances accordingly for legal matters. There were days I questioned everything. Was this worth it? Should I return home? But quitting wasn't an option. What saved me was taking my own development seriously. For example, I completed several online courses on web development, business analysis, and project management, to mention a few. I also built a support system of fellow migrants like me and locals who later became my lifeline. Soon, a door finally opened. I landed an entry-level anti-money laundering analyst position at a bank. Not my dream job, but a great starting place. Slowly, I transitioned to the technology side of banking, not as a programmer, but a business analyst with expertise in UX design, process optimization, and software testing. One thing I am particularly proud of professionally is participating in an educational project that enabled me lecture in one of Warsaw's finest universities, paving the way for me to be a thought leader, even without a doctorate degree. All of these wouldn't have been possible if I gave up. The city that once intimidated me now became my playground, vibrant and full of opportunities. My story is not meant to discourage you, but aimed at helping you set realistic expectations for yourself and travel with purpose. For example, my journey has helped me to master how to overcome fear, depression, and rejections. Looking back, I am very grateful because through migration, I have learned many lessons that no classroom could have ever taught me. The first is to embrace uncertainty and explore unknown territories. You see, life's biggest rewards hide behind the scariest doors. I stopped fearing the unknown and it helped me grow. It also helped me to become more ambitious. Secondly, community is everything. It is sad to see many migrants viewing themselves as competitors when they should be working together to lift each other. It reminds me of a saying my mom used to say, "Akugbe ahu," meaning that there is strength and health in togetherness, or simply unity is strength. The third lesson is that persistence and perseverance pay off. One of the greatest benefits of challenges and obstacles is that they refine you because there is always a lesson to be learned. Every mistake I made, every challenge I faced, gave me an opportunity to refine myself and build a more robust foundation for future success. I also developed empathy for others who are struggling in various ways. I became a more conscious individual, got closer to God, learned the power of productive hope and the value of gratitude for simple things. All of these lessons have moved me from survival mode to thriving. But it is not all rosy. I still miss home. I miss my family. my friends, the food, and everything I was familiar with. You see, migration is a trade-off. You gain a future and lose pieces of your past. This story isn't exactly unique because millions walk this path every day. So if you are considering relocating abroad, whether temporarily or permanently, know this. It is scary, it is hard, and you need to do it with purpose. Tell me, what's your story? Share in the comment section, and if you derived any value from this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.